Welcome to the Shoot to Ill podcast, a podcast for any and all creators out there. My name is Martin Depict. I'm a photographer, videographer, and graphic designer based in Los Angeles. Today, I want to talk to you guys about where the bar is set with creativity. So, I have always looked up to certain artists, specifically photographers, videographers, or cinematographers, directors of photography, directors. All these people sort of have a vision that they sort of bring to life. And where you can be in between where you are and where the bar is set, there's so many places that you can be and still may have a career and make a living doing it. So I have some examples here. So here's an example of where you can be, and I feel like somewhere towards the top. So this is an issue of Interview magazine. It's August 2017. It is photographed by Gregory Harris, I think. Yep, Gregory Harris. And this is sort of like the peak, the pinnacle of where you can be as a photographer, shooting for these types of magazines, shooting these types of photos. But then you can go even a step further. And one of my favorite photographers is Annie Leibovitz. And she is the type of photographer that it's an honor to work with her. And I think even sometimes the publications, are honored to work with her because of who she is and how long she's been in the industry and the things she's accomplished over her career. That this is another photo of Kendrick Lamar for Vanity Fair that Annie Leibovitz took. And this was probably taken, maybe over the course of a conversation that they were having. She had an idea of what she wanted to capture. I think during this time period in Annie's career, she was capturing a lot of portraits like this, just sort of like straight portraits towards the camera, very powerful shots. And I'm not saying that this one is any less powerful, but this is sort of created, with Annie's vision in mind. And I guess this, which also aligned with Vanity Fair at the time. So this is sort of where very few creatives can reach. Like, very few creatives can get to a level to where you are paid to create, and people love your vision and they want to just see you do what you do. Now, there's another level of creativity, and this is probably one of my favorite examples. So, in 2010, Kanye West was asked, or I'm not even sure if he was asked to do it. I'm sure they probably just told him like, hey, we want to put you on the cover. And he was like, no, I want to creative direct the whole fucking thing. And they were like, well, fuck it, it's Kanye West. We have to let him do it, right? So in 2010, I think this was around the time when My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out, and he was sort of like reaching a new peak in his career. XXL gave him the opportunity to creative direct not only the cover shoot of his issue, but they gave him spreads, like complete spreads inside the magazine. And I'll give you guys I'll show you guys what that looks like. So this is the cover. One of my favorite issues, and it's like, reversible. It's pretty dope. And on the inside, there is multiple spreads that start with a very consistent pattern. It's all black and white. He had a very specific idea of like typography that he wanted to use, images that he wanted to take. I think I don't know if you guys are fans of Kanye, but like during this time, during the recording of this album, of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy album, he was recording in Hawaii, and everyone that was there had to wear suits, like as if they were all going to a funeral, basically. And it was just like a new level of I guess, I don't know, bringing everyone together, creativity, but like the fact that he got to creative direct, you know, not only the cover but spreads, and like this is multiple spreads, and it doesn't even stop with him. He goes into photo shoots for his artists, so I'm sure this was him as well. The Pursuit of Happiness, with just like close up shots of a suitcase. This was him. And if you guys know Double XL, this is not Double XL at this time. Double XL in 2010, I have another issue here to give you guys a reference of what that looked like. This is Double XL in 2010, May 2010. This is what they look like. So this is Drake and Nicki Minaj. And then look at the spreads on the inside. Look at what their stuff looked like. It's just way different. This is more, you know, like I think they were trying to be classy, but I mean, Kanye just took it to a whole nother level. Like, just like, this is not Double XL anymore. This took it completely above and beyond of what Double XL was at the time. And I mean, for them to just say like hand over the reins, and here we go again. This is Big Sean spread. It goes into him. It goes into multiple spreads of him. This is more like this feels more high fashion than. And let me just show you guys another spread from this other one. Here's a shot of Nicki Minaj's spread in this issue of 2010 as well. So this compared to this, it's night and day. And so like you see, and then it ends, the spread, all his section ends with the same photo that he started his section with. So I bring him up specifically because now sometimes as a photographer, you get to work with creative directors, or in this case, it was Kanye West being a creative director and directing his whole sort of vision around this. And you're given the opportunity to work with someone like him to bring his vision to life. And that's almost, as a photographer, as a creative, that's almost harder to do than to just wanting to bring something to life for yourself, because there could be so many miscommunications. There can be so many things that go wrong. Fortunately here, he put together a really good team. But that to me sort of like set the bar to a whole nother level, or put the bar up a whole nother level. Now, where I look at to see where the bar is today is in fashion magazines. So fashion magazines, any fashion magazine, Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Vanity Fair, all the big fashion magazines have a big spring and fall issue. And the reason why they're so big, they're so thick, it's not because they're writing this much. Like this is all advertisements. So these are all advertisements for the big fashion companies. So this was last fall's issue. And here you get to see like Dior. Even with product photography, this is where the bar is set here. So like YSL product photography, this is where I look for inspiration, because I wouldn't even say inspiration. This is where I look to see where the trends are in photography and creativity in general, because there's so much fluctuation, right? And you can be on different levels of the same bar. Like obviously fashion photography is very clean, but then there's also been a trend of, you know, people wanting to shoot this sort of retro inspired photography, and that's in here as well. So this is an example of that sort of retro inspired photography. And so this is just an image, I'm assuming in Tokyo, of that very busy famous street there with models walking down this busy street, I guess. And so that sort of, you know, I guess you can be on different points of the same bar, right? These people that sort of make it and shoot images for these bigger issues, these people are not only making, they're probably making a more money. Like they're probably making a good salary's worth of money in one shoot, because those images are meant to be used for the whole half of the year, maybe even season, or season, or I would say even half of the year. And those images are used over and over and over everywhere on billboards all over the world, Paris, New York, LA. They're images that go up everywhere, and so they get like big licensing and publishing rights and payments for that, and that's where I sort of hope to be one day. That's where I want to be one day, is sort of like get an opportunity to shoot this stuff. Now, in my heart, I know that I can sort of like shoot this level of content. I know that I can get to this point one day. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with me getting the opportunity to work with these brands, and getting to work with these brands, obviously, like it takes a lot of work. Like you have to sort of like be pretty consistent, and then you have to know the right people. It's a lot of sort of like it's a big social game as well, which I'm probably not. I think I've spoken about my social anxiety here, so it's different, right? Like Annie Leibovitz, for instance, she, when she first started shooting for Rolling Stone, and she would sort of go on tour with these rock artists, these rock stars, and sort of be a fly on the wall and capture all these moments. And she got to know all these people, Bon Jovi, and all these big musical acts, and be around them and see parts of them that not a lot of people got to see, and she captured that. And I think that because she did that and she was able to capture those moments, it sort of, and not only that, she was trusted with those moments. These people trusted her enough to be that vulnerable around her. And so, I think it's amazing to be in the position to where you can be given the opportunity to have someone just be themselves around you. And I think in this day and age, it's very hard for someone to be themselves, because I think there's a lot of people that are afraid that to say something around you that, might offend someone and stuff like that. People are always on their toes now, and people are very sensitive, unfortunately. So it's different, right? But if you're lucky enough to be with someone, I think like photographers that go on tour with artists, they and the ones that become friends with the artists, these are people that I think I really admire as well, because those are people that get to know them and see a side of them that not a lot of people do. They become family almost, I mean, a lot of them may be even friends with them before they even become famous. Like these are just like friends that took pictures of them as they gained fame, and then, as they kept going up and up, like the photographer friend that they grew up with just, kept getting better at it. So it's not an easy feat to get to this level. And practice makes perfect. And I think that my whole point of this is because I'm sort of like looking to get to this point and sort of create these things with Shoot to Ill, and do these projects to where I can sort of not only show people what I can do, but also show myself that I can do it. Like I have done this long enough, and I have the technical knowledge to be able to shoot a lot of this stuff, to be able to accomplish a lot of the things that I want to accomplish. And if it has to be something that I have to pay for, like if it's a model that I really want to work with and I have to pay her for her time, like, so be it. And like if I have to pay for makeup and hair to get done, so be it. Like I need to add these pieces to my portfolio, and sort of like even if nothing leads of this, like I will then know that I can do it. I will then know that I can be a sort of well-rounded photographer. Like I know a lot of photographers sort of like shoot one thing, and I think that I have shot mainly models over the last couple years, and I think that doesn't mean that I can't shoot anything else. Like, I've shot a lot of product stuff, and no one have seen my product stuff because no one wants to see my product stuff. And I think a perfect analogy for this is in the movie American Fiction. Like, a great movie. It just came out on iTunes. There's an analogy there where the main character, he's a writer, and he sort of like holds himself up pretty high. He's a very high prestige writer, and he sees all this other work getting attention that's not as good as his. But he writes something that he goes like, well, fuck it. If everyone's writing shit that's not good, I'm going to write something that's not good. And then people end up loving it. And so he goes to his publisher, and his publishers are like, people want the book and people want to buy it. So, we're going to sell it. And he doesn't want to. He has this sort of conflict. I think I should have said spoiler, right? I'll put like a spoiler before I go into that. But his publisher then brings up the analogy of Johnny Walker. So Johnny Walker has different levels of scotch and whiskey in their lineup, right? So Johnny Walker Red is the cheap, more affordable Johnny Walker, the shit that people buy, the stuff that more people are more, able to get and drink. Then there's Johnny Walker Black and Johnny Walker Green. They have a bunch that it all leads up to like their top shelf scotch, which is Johnny Walker Blue. And so his publisher then tells him, you've been writing a lot of the Johnny Walker Blue stuff. And you've now written something that's more, appealing to the regular person, which would be Johnny Walker Red. So if it's what people want, why not give it to them? And so on the opposite end, for me, I've been shooting a lot of women, a lot of sexy stuff, a lot of sexy content, posting that on social media. And I think on social media, it's sort of like, it's the low-hanging fruit, unfortunately. Like and I'm not bashing it. I love shooting that stuff. I love working with the models that I work with. But shooting the models in the way that I shoot them, shooting them very sexy, it's the low-hanging fruit. It's what's going to get views. It's what's going to get the attention. Now, if I were to shoot stuff that, like the whiskey bottle that I just shot, like that kind of product photography, or if I'm shooting more stuff like, if I were to post a photo like this of a male model on my account, no one would fuck with it. Like, this will not get a lot of likes and comments on my page because I have gained a large male following, and that large male following doesn't want to see this. But I think if I were to shoot someone like a male that, like Kendrick, that I think a lot of my followers do fuck with, I think they're gonna see the photo of him and say, "Wow, that's fucking dope. That's amazing." I think it's also like the subject, right? And I think I'll go into my point about the subjects next, because I have always heard since I started posting, and because people have no idea that I've been shooting product and making a living shooting photography. People always just saw me, from what I've showed them. They only see me as the photographer that shoots women. They don't see me as the photographer that is grinding and shooting all this product and shooting e-com, and I've even shot headshots for actors and stuff like that. They don't see any of that. So I think a lot of people have looked at my work and said, anyone can shoot beautiful women. And I don't disagree. I think that anyone can shoot with beautiful women. I think it's not a cop-out, because there's still a lot of technical things that go into it. I think now that there are trends that happen when you're shooting with female models that you have to sort of follow these trends. Like direct flash was one thing that I sort of picked up and then kept doing because it was sort of a trend that a lot of models like. Soft light, shooting during golden hour, you know, all that stuff. I think right now there's a little bit of a trend of more like cinematography or cinema photo type photographs, cinema inspired photographs. And I think a lot of those images are sort of like this backlit, right? Like if I were to turn this light off, this would be more like cinematic. Maybe I would probably need more fill light from this side, but this would be more cinematic. Um, but this is not flattering for the type of photos that I shoot. People, I think a lot models spend a lot of time and money on their makeup, and they want to make sure that they show the makeup off. And then, on top of that, there's a certain style of editing that goes into it. And, that's a whole nother thing that I don't want to go down towards. But like, if people have seen my work and have said, he's taken the easy route, he shoots with beautiful women, it's not hard to do that, I would probably tend to disagree that it's not 100% easy. Like, I think you have to make the girls that you work with feel comfortable. You have to, especially now, you have to be respectful, and I think that you have to be someone that they can trust, because a lot of the images that you take of them, they're trusting you to not go out and show them the bad images of them. Show people the bad images of them. They only trust you to see the good images. And I think a lot of that, it comes down to reputation. Your reputation is everything. So if your reputation is, if you're someone that people have enjoyed working with, if people have been able to trust you, I think it's just going to take you further and further. So you have to keep your side of the street clean. Like, you have to, your reputation is everything in this industry, in every industry. I think you have to make sure that you're known for your skill. I think that, well, there's multiple different types of photographers, right? Like, and I think that some of them lean more towards skill than others, and I'll give examples, right? So you have like the starving artist. These are people that are maybe just starting, maybe people that have been doing it maybe for a long time or doing it just for fun, but their work is amazing. Maybe they're someone that hasn't got the opportunity to work with certain clients, or they just haven't gotten their break yet. Then you have the working photographer. These are the people. I think I'm pretty much in this category of photographers that will take the job because I'm confident that I can do it, and it doesn't really matter what I'm shooting. I'll shoot anything but weddings because I'm not a wedding photographer. I'm not good in social settings, so it's not. Even for friends, I don't think I would do it. Like, I would bring a camera, but I do not want to be the main photographer. I do not want to get in anyone's way. I think now when someone asks me to shoot an event, I'm like, I'll do it if I can just sort of walk around and take photos and not sort of like, if I'm given like a specific, if I need to like make sure that I get like certain people smiling and stuff like that, that's not me. I don't like doing that. But if I'm there to just take pictures of one person in one outfit, and I'm there and I do that, and then, or take pictures of multiple people in outfits that I may know already, I'm there. Like, Coachella's coming up. Coachella's one of those events that I used to work, and I love working, but I used to go to Coachella for fun. And I love going to Coachella for fun. I love just going, taking my camera, and just sort of enjoying the festival. I don't like working it because working it, you can't really sort of enjoy it that way. Like, I like to camp on the festival grounds. Like, I'm getting off topic. but yeah, anyway, shooting models is not easy. You know, you deal with different personalities. You have to deal with people's demands. People have different standards of beauty, and you have to sort of like match them a lot of the time. So if you think that it's easy, I will doubt. I will tend to disagree 100%. You know, like I think what's easy is shooting products, shooting something that doesn't that's pretty straightforward. Something something that there's like it's more technical than social. Like something that, you know, if I'm shooting 100 different products in the same way in the studio, it's 100 different products in the same way. Like it might take me all day, but I'm gonna get it done, and I'm gonna make sure that all of them look exactly the same because that's what they're supposed to be for the catalog that I'm shooting for or whatever it may be. So it's like, you know, I think like this is where I think a lot of what led to my, you know, I think what led to my imposter syndrome was I let what people thought of me affect me too much. And so what people's thoughts of me, I shouldn't care, right? Like I shouldn't, it shouldn't matter to me what people think or say, but I think it got to the point to where even if it wasn't true, even if I wasn't hearing it myself, I kept thinking like, this is, if I do this, people are going to think I'm this. If I do that, people are going to think I'm that. And I just got into my head, and I'm slowly sort of crawling out of this hole that I dug myself in. And I'm starting to realize that I've shot all this shit that's Johnny Walker Red, all this shit that like gets attention, that people are liking. And now I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to shoot what I want to shoot because I can shoot the Johnny Walker Blue shit too, and I'm going to show people that I can. Will people like it as much? Probably not. But will I get more work from it? Yeah. Because the Johnny Walker Blue shit is what the people pay for, what clients and companies pay for. You know, like you can make money. I can make money shooting women, and I am making money shooting women. But I think that it's great to diversify because I am 34 now. I'm not going to be able to do this forever. I'm not going to be able to be around young women forever. It's just not in my cards. Like I'll do it for as long as it's not creepy. I'll do it for as long as time allows me to. But right now, like if I can transition into something else, if I can sort of position myself to be a creative, like I position myself now to be someone who I believe, I like to believe that I'm not living in a box. Although people might put me in a box and say that, oh, he just shoots this, I know for myself that I'm not that. I know that I can shoot many different things in many different ways. If you want a retro style photo that looks like film, I have film. We can shoot it on film, and I can give you the look that you want. If you want, macro photography of jewelry, I could do it. If you want specific, dolly shots of like miniature stuff, I don't know, soda cans and stuff that I've seen on like TikTok and stuff, I have the tools that can do it, and I can definitely learn how to do it. Like I have the probe lens, I have a C70, I have all the tools at my disposal. If you tell me that I can't do it, I'm the type of person that's going to tell you I fucking can do it. Because that's just how I've always been. And like there's been times, even with that, the most recent one was when I took the job for Razer. That job originally was to post one video a week on YouTube. And 3 months into it, it went to from posting one video a week on YouTube to posting 2 videos a week on YouTube. It was just me. It was just me having to produce, wrangle all the talent, having to come up with the ideas for the video, getting it approved by Razer, and then shooting it, then editing it. I did that for like a good maybe 5-6 months before I brought people on. My anxiety level was through the roof. Like I remember posting a video and I missed something. I thought it was good. I thought everything was good. Everything was fine. I missed something and I didn't know. And so like I hit publish, or I didn't publish it. It was scheduled for the next day. I popped a gummy. 30 minutes later, I'm on the couch watching movies with my girlfriend, trying to relax after, you get into this high stress scenario zone where like you're editing and, you have to have a video up by a certain time. And so you hit the mark and you feel good. I'm trying to de-stress and I'm a little high off the gummy. And then I get a call from my business partner, Noah, and he's freaking out off of something that I like that's in the video that's not supposed to be in the video. And then I start freaking out. And then I'm high. So I'm like, I can't function. So like I have to get off the phone with him. I have to sort of like get my thoughts together. And I figured out that there's a way to cut it out, cut that piece out of the video in YouTube. Something that was in the video that wasn't supposed to be in the video, I just cut it out. Done. That's it. Could it have been better? Could I have, gone back into the editing, recut it, adjusted the music and all the effects? Yeah, for sure. But it was already done. And it was such a small piece that you didn't even notice it. But that I freaked out for over such a small piece. After that point, we sort of realized that I needed help. So I got an editor. I got other people to help me shoot. And I did that for almost 2 years of shooting content, 2 videos a week for a YouTube channel. And it was fucking hard. It was draining. It was, I think a lot of it was fun because I got to learn a lot. I got to really sort of run and gun video, right? And it was cool to some aspects. And I got to learn a lot. And one of our videos got up to 1 million views. And it wasn't a video that I shot, but it was a video that I got to like promote and use a lot of my marketing skills for. And, I saw it as a success. And, I have to sort of walk away from those situations and say, I learned a lot from that. It might have not been fun, but I learned a lot from that and I took a lot away from that. And I did it. Something that, like I did YouTube before that. Like I've uploaded YouTube videos for myself. I've helped edit YouTube videos. But me doing a YouTube channel for 2 years, uploading twice a week, fuck. Like, I know why fucking people burn out. You know why people burn out? Because people make it more fucking difficult than it's supposed to be. Like, videos like this, like where I'm just here talking to a camera, I've set this up so easy. Like, the mic's connected to a mixer. The mixer's connected to the camera. The audio's going straight to the camera. I really just take this video, put it in Premiere, color grade it, cut out the pieces where I don't like, and then upload it. That's it. I'm not doing any crazy shit to this. Like, I have my intro and my outro set. I have little graphics and stuff set. If I want to throw pictures up on the screen, I'll do that. But I'm not adding any crazy effects. I think right now, if I want to reach the level that I want to reach, like, especially when it comes to this, I could sort of take more production into this, or put some more production into this, but I can't afford to do that right now. I can only afford to do what I'm doing right now, and I'm happy with how it's coming out. I'm happy that I'm even doing this. I'm happy that I'm even in front of the camera. I'm happy that I'm even on my way to get shit like this. Like, I'm gonna. My whole point behind this is that I'm gonna start shooting shit that I want to shoot, that I believe is that more Johnny Walker Blues sort of top shelf shit, and I'm not gonna care what people think. I'm gonna care if it ends up making me money in the long run. Like, I'm really excited. Like, I don't know what got me this hype. I don't know what inspired me to just talk about this. Like, this is so crazy. Like, I literally just, maybe it was that movie. But if you take away anything from this podcast, I think you should take away that as a photographer, as a videographer, look where the bar is set, okay? Even as a videographer, I brought examples for you guys too because I love this type of shit too. So here is Spike Lee's book, And here are photos from behind the scenes, and then also frames from his movies, right? So, hold on, this is a big ass book. So, I think the one, I think both of these might be frames from the movie. Yeah. So there's Malcolm X on the right here. Or I think this is my right. This is maybe your left. So this Malcolm X, no, frame from the movie Malcolm X, and then here's a photo of, I should know his fucking name, Nelson Mandela. Here's a photo of Nelson Mandela on the right, and it's, I mean, like, these frames, man, these shots that people capture, you know, like, they live on forever. And so a lot of the photos that I take, although they might not live for a long time on the internet right now, I have millions of photos. That's not a joke. Terabytes and terabytes of photos. I have, this isn't full yet, 36. I have 104 terabytes. I might be wrong. 104 terabytes of memory that's already full with photos. And then I have another 128 terabytes that I'm still filling up. And that's not just photo, that's video as well. And I'm trying to get to a point. Imagine when I start to put my reel together. Like, I'm starting to shoot shit, and as I'm editing it, I'm like putting clips in a folder for my reel, because I know that clips are gonna. I know that I know some of the stuff that I'm shooting I just really love, and like, you know, I need to keep experimenting with it. But I have product stuff. I have stuff with models. I have, you know, I even stuff like, you know, my buddies just like scootering around and skating around, like capturing all these moments. Like, I don't want it to be for nothing, and it might be. You know, maybe I'm being a little selfish for keeping it locked up only for, you know, only releasing bits and pieces of it. But, you know, one day when I get too old to do this, I'm going to look back at all these fucking files that I've kept and made sure that, you know, no one has seen, that I can sort of like edit together and put out my own books. I put out my own fucking inspiration for people to sort of like to see and say like, wow, he fucking did that. And he did a bunch of different shit. You know what's funny is that, and this is, I'm just gonna end on this because I don't want this episode to be too long. What's funny is that I think I've always heard that you shouldn't try to be the master of everything, right? Because there's probably a saying, but you shouldn't try to master everything, because you're not going to be, and that means you're not going to be good at anything. So you should just try to master one thing so you can be great at that one thing. With photography, that one thing is photography. And so if you're telling me that I only have to be great in shooting one thing of one subject of photography, no. This is the fucking tool. I'm good at using this thing. I'm gonna learn it to use it in every fucking way that I can. So whether it be digital, whether it be film, whether it be product, I don't care if it's fucking toilet paper. I'm gonna make that shit look fucking good. So yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for just listening to me rant. I appreciate all of you guys. Please subscribe. Leave me a comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a comment, share it. It helps this podcast get out there. But that's it for today. Thank you. Keep shooting. Peace.